So here I want to show you an example of how a strategy could be strictly dominated not by another strategy, but rather by a mixed strategy. So here you can see in this example, this is from the Krebs book, Game Theory and Economic Modeling, now on page 27, that X is strictly dominated by Y. Right, X is strictly dominated by Y, and you can see why. Because 5 is greater than 3 and 8 is greater than 7. But if you introduce a small tweak here, and you, namely you remove the payoff 5 here for player 1 and you change it to a 2, you can see what that does, right? What that does is that it means that X is no longer strictly dominated by Y. However, if we allow mixed strategies, then we can show that X is strictly dominated by a mix. And the mix is to play strategy Y with a probability of 2/3 and strategy Z with a probability of 1/3. Okay, so I'm going to compute here on the right side what the payoffs would look like. So if you're playing Y with a probability of 2/3, then payoff for you would be 4/3 and 2/3. And then here you would get 16/3 and 0. And then you would play Z with a probability of 1/3, gives you 6/3, 0, and 6/3 and 2/3. Okay, everybody can see what I just did here. I just took the payoffs here and multiplied them by 2/3 to get to these payoffs here on the right hand side, and the same thing for strategy Z. Okay, let me just make this crystal clear. So now I need to add them up. I'm going to add it up at the bottom. So I get 10/3 and 2/3. And I get 22/3 and 2/3. Okay, so these are the payoffs down here associated with playing strategy Y with a probability of 2/3 and strategy Z with a probability of 1/3. I get the following payoffs. I'm going to make this clear. And the thing to note here, is that 10/3 is greater than 3. And 22/3 is greater than 7. And so you can see that the payoffs for player 1, I forgot to indicate here, player 1 is here and player 2 is here. The payoffs for player 1 are actually greater when you're playing strategy Y with probability of 2/3 and strategy Z with a probability of 1/3. So when you play the mixed strategy, right, you get higher payoffs than when you play strategy X, which means that X is strictly dominated by this mixed strategy here.